Alright, good morning everybody. This is Halo Fanatic, and I'm going to do a video here quick about virtual machines. I was asked, because of my virtual machine video in Dimmdrive, I was asked a very interesting set of questions, and here we go. Yeah, so he asked, what is the purpose, what is needed as software and hardware, which that is very key, hardware too. What goal is, and he's French, so his English isn't too good, but what's the goal for using a VM, and how would you set up a VM? Well, I answered his stuff pretty in depth, but yeah, so for this, just because I want this to go fast, I'm going to be installing Ubuntu, because it's only about a gig or so. It's very, very lightweight, and it's free, so you guys can do it. Well, sometimes. You'll need also some kind of virtual machine software. I'm going to be using VMware Workstation. Now, I get this for free because I'm a student, thankfully. I don't know how much it costs. You can go look that up yourself. But I'm going to be using Dimmdrive, and I'm going to be installing it on Dimmdrive. And then after this video, I'm going to be getting rid of it because I don't need it anymore. So you're going to need to go grab the ISO, the .iso of your operating system that you want to use. For Mac, it's very difficult to get a hold of the ISO. I haven't been able to do it yet. I really want to try Mac as much as I hate it. But yeah, for Ubuntu and Linux and Mint, everything like that, you can go to their website and they actually have the ISO for download. If you want to do Windows or something, again, I get the ISO for free because I'm a student. I don't have to pay for it, but you can take any number of your CDs here, and yeah, you put the CD in your CD drive, go get an ISO ripper software so you can actually make an ISO of that CD, and then you open up the ISO in your VM software. So here we go. We're going to do create a new virtual machine. We're going to go typical. And here's the installer disk. So I guess technically you could install from a disk. I've never successfully done that. That's why I always say use an ISO. It's much better. So we're going to click installer disk image file. So now we're going to navigate to Dimmdrive and open up that ISO. We'll install the operating system now, so you don't need to check that. So go next. Full name, we'll just do test user. Username is test user 1. Password or capital P assword 01. That's just our typical password thing for class. So it's very handy because it complies with the basic password requirements. And here, virtual machine name. You can name this whatever you want to. I'm just going to leave it as that. And the location where you want it installed. So I want it installed on my Dimmdrive because I want it gone after this. So go to Dimmdrive, and I made a folder. There, now it's going to install in there. So this is hopefully going to be really, really fast. And here you can set the disks, or the disk size. So I'm just going to go, it says recommended size for Ubuntu is 20 gigs. I'm just going to go 5. Well, fuck it, I'll go 10 just because we have ample space. Store virtual disk in a single file. I really don't know what the advantages of these. I don't notice a speed difference or anything. I do split into virtual just because it's default. It's fine. Click next. You're brought to this. You have some information before you actually start it. So you got 10 gig hard disk, 1 gig of memory, which is fine for Ubuntu because it's very lightweight. It doesn't need much. And then you go customize hardware. Now this is the fun part. Under processors, you can dedicate however many of your processors to the virtual machine. Now, if you have a quad-core machine and you're running, let's say, 5 virtual machines, you can have all virtual machines use all of your cores, and they actually split it up. If something needs something, it's all shared. So, yeah, that's a question I actually ran into not too long ago, and I never found an answer for it. I ended up finding out myself. I actually did a test, and I ran about 15 virtual machines, and they all used all 4 of my cores all the time. My CPU topped out, and they all bottlenecked and basically went super, super slow until they were all done doing what I had them doing. And so number of processors, I have one processor, one physical processor, that's what that is. And then number of cores per processor. I have a quad core processor, so I have 4 cores per one processor. So I would want to click 4 if I want maximum performance. Now, if you want to be able to use your normal host machine just like you normally would, you can give just 1 core, because Ubuntu doesn't need much, so it'll be fine with just 1. It will be slower, but whatever. Alright, so here we go. Here's where I said hardware was important. If you have an Intel CPU, that CPU needs to have Intel VT-X. If it doesn't have it, you can't do virtual machines, period. So if you have AMD, it has to have AMD-V or RVI, which I'm not sure what that, or Intel needs EPT too. I'm not sure what they mean. Never bothered to search what they mean. It just means virtual something, obviously. But that's actually what allows your CPU to be virtualized. So you don't need to change any of that. It's perfectly fine. Just do automatic. But yeah, so this machine is going to have 1 gig of RAM, but we're going to put that to whatever we want. I'm going to go 2 gigs just because. Now here's the cool thing. With virtual machines, you're not limited to physical stuff. I could have 30 CD drives in my thing. It's all virtual. They don't actually exist, but the machine thinks they exist. So if you want to copy over some files, you can put them on an ISO, make an ISO or something, and have that be like an installer. So if you're trying to replicate what it'd be like for your customers to install your software from a CD, you can do that. It is very handy. There's many other things. Network adapters. Even if I only have one network adapter, which I only have one Ethernet port in my computer, no wireless, nothing. I could have like 30, whatever, however many network adapters I want to, and you can set those to several amount of things that you want. There's security and just a whole bunch of things. I don't need to go into that. Same thing for everything else. You get the gist by now. You can make more USB controllers, sound cards, printers, whatever. So we're going to click close, and then we're going to click finish. Yeah, power on this virtual machine after creation. So here we go. This is probably going to be pretty fast. Notice Control-Alt is to release, because right now, well, actually right now it's fine because it's still loading, but once you're in the virtual machine, especially for Ubuntu, your mouse gets locked to that virtual machine. To unlock it, so you can move around your host machine, press Control-Alt, and it says that right down there at the bottom left. And also something, once Ubuntu gets started, or your virtual machine, whatever, you can install something called virtual or VMware tools, which that actually is what allows for copying files and stuff from your host machine to your virtual machine, and a number of other things. But so obviously copying files, it's not going to take too long because everything is on the RAM right now. If we do Control-Alt, if I open up Task Manager, you can see my CPU is running pretty good right now. 63%, and I'm using 13 out of the 32 gigs, and that's still climbing because it's installing. So yeah, if you have a crappy machine, obviously you're going to be bottlenecked and your machine's going to be slow. I mean, you're running an entire computer inside your computer, so it's doing twice of what it normally would have to. So, well, twice, hypothetically. Yep. What got me into virtual machines was because I was going to school for networking, and they had us run virtual machines on our computer, so we didn't brick our own computer, And something interesting that I found was I'm part of Cheat Happens. It's a website there that makes trainers for PC games, so you can do infinite health and stuff on whatever. Obviously you can't use it in multiplayer because that's a whole other thing with network, and yeah, because you don't have control over the servers. You can't modify your stuff. But for local play, it's fun. Now the thing is I wanted to create my own trainer, and I didn't know at the time. I did not know C++. Well, Cheat Happens made a trainer maker, but it was only working with Windows XP Service Pack 3. So, for shits and giggles, recently, I ran Windows XP in my solid states, and it loaded so fast that it crashed. So, it was a lot of fun. I love computers, and there's always something new to learn. You can never know everything about computers. It's not possible because everything is always changing. Anyway, so I got the trainer maker working on there, and I messed around with it for a bit, and I ended up with trainers. It's memory injection, so you're injecting code into the RAM, into the actual running program, and I crashed the virtual machine. I broke the virtual machine. It would no longer boot because I edited RAM, and the way that I edited the RAM, it happened to be right at the save zone. When it went to go save, it saved a corrupted thing, and it bricked the virtual machine. So thankfully, because I was using a virtual machine, not an actual computer, I didn't lose any data. My host machine was perfectly fine. Does not affect it at all. And it was just a lot of fun. So right now, the reason this is taking so long is it's downloading the language packs. I have bad internet, so it takes quite a long time. But yeah, so I'm just trying to keep this conversation going so you guys aren't sitting here just watching me sit here waiting for this. So in other news, I've got some other videos coming up, and for those of you that are new to my channel from Steam or wherever you happen to be watching this from, or linked to this from, whatever, I've got a lot of videos coming. Go check out my old videos. I've made a lot of cool things. I recently upgraded my graphics card from a GTX 760 to a EVGA GTX 980 Ti hybrid. It's a liquid cooler with with an air cooler for the VRAM. So, or the VRM, which, yeah. And, yeah. I guess something to note here, I'm not sure. Again, with this recording right now with Shadowplay, I can't see my camera physically on my screen right now, so I don't know what's being shown on the screen, on the camera, but this is my new 4K TV. As you can see, this is like super, super tiny. Like the taskbar is super, super tiny down there. It's great. I can have four full 1080p screens at once. So running virtual machines is a freaking dream now. And yeah, maybe I'll show you guys Windows Server 2012 revision 2 and how with virtual machines you can make your own network, like an actual, like, replicate your school, for instance, like your high school. You can impose restrictions to where the students can't use control panel, can't unlock the taskbar, whatever, can't change their password, things like that. You have full control over that. It's great. It's awesome. It's just so many options. And yeah, a little bit about my setup. If you've watched my videos before, you know I have two of these monitors right here. They're 23-inch Samsung monitors. They're pretty old, but they're glorious. Great picture quality, everything. 1080p. I got tired of that. I needed something better, especially with my new graphics card. The other monitor is sitting right down there, and I'm thinking about rearranging my desks. I have, for this graphics card, it has 3 display ports, an HDMI 2.0, and a DVI. I'm using the DVI and the HDMI because I don't have DisplayPort. I've never had to use DisplayPort before, so I need to get an adapter for display to HDMI, and then I can use the other monitor. But what I want to do is put the 4K TV like right here, like right there, and then have the Samsung monitors on either side. That'd be pretty sick. Here's my tower. I have Velcro straps holding my router to the side of my computer, which is really handy because I can just unplug things, you know, and my router crashes a lot. So, and then I have this thing called a UPS, an uninterrupted power supply. I believe that is probably the greatest investment I have ever made in my entire life for my computer. That means, major paint is done, so that's good. I own that video, by the way. We have the disc, but it's all scratched up, so it doesn't work anymore. So yes, I had to pirate it. Sorry. And this UPS stands for uninterrupted power supply. Said that already. And what that means is it acts as basically a generator, essentially. Except, let's say the power goes out. Normally, your computer would shut off in a bad way, and it wouldn't shut down correctly, and sometimes that can wreck your computer. That can brick your computer, and that happened to me. That happened to me in college. Back at my first college, a lightning strike struck the college, fried my components, and made my computer shut down. I was able to, restart and stuff, but it had fried my CPU and caused... It was... The symptoms were like I had overclocked it, and I had allowed it to overheat and damage it. That's essentially what happened. Like, that's what it was acting like. And it would randomly crash. My computer would randomly crash, and it was because of the CPU. At that time, I was running AMD, an AMD Phenom 2 X4955 3.2 gigahertz, and it's quad core. It's a decent CPU. It's not bad. It's really not bad. Yeah, so the virtual machine looks like it's almost done. And, yeah. Anyway, if you have your, here we go. So I'll just keep talking about it here. If your computer is plugged into your UPS and the power goes out, your UPS instantly, without stopping electric flow, supplies electricity to your components to keep them running just fine. And it's more than that. Even if you don't, while you have it plugged in into your UPS is feeding it like clean energy, like not affected by interference and things like that. It's super, super clean, so it's really, really good for your components. And how much that matters, I really don't know, but it's more reliable. This one also acts as a can't think of the word right now. Brain fart. Anyway, we're here in the virtual machine, and I'm not too familiar with Ubuntu. I don't care for it. Go appearance. Just trying to... Can we run 4K on this? No. The hard part with Ubuntu for me is figuring out how to... Here we go. Oh. So Ubuntu doesn't like 4K either. Huh. Okay, where's the apply button? There we go. Alright, so keep this configuration. Good to go. So now we're in Ubuntu. And now, shoot, I can't remember. Ping? Is ping a thing? Yeah, ping's a thing. So, crap, what was if config? There we go. So for Ubuntu, it's if config, and I think that means interface configuration to list your IP. So right now, this is, and I'm actually not sure how to read this one. It's looking like this might be the address I want to ping. But if I open up command prompt on my local machine and I try to ping 192.168.59.138, I get a reply. If I look up, say, oops, I cannot type this morning, holy cow. Anyway, as you can see, here's my IP, 1.2, simple. So, ping 192.168.1.2. There you go. The two machines can communicate. This is really cool. That's good. I think that keeps going until you stop it. So, yeah. So there's your virtual machine. You can open up Firefox, and everything's going to be lickety split. So it's very, very fast. LibreOffice. If I just want to like mash open several freaking programs, you can. It's cool. So, yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and shut down. And they're done. That's it. That's really all that there is to it. Go to home. Yeah, and then yeah, I mean, that's all that there is to it, So, if you guys have any other questions, just let me know, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. So, see you guys later.